existence. In a time where a pandemic has brought the world to a near standstill and changed the education as we know it dramatically, and reinforced in a positive way the immense value of higher education to individuals, communities, and society at large. A time when an ongoing wave of civil unrest continued to plague many nations. It is a perfect time to make education for values, of values, and by values a central theme of our discussions. Many years ago, a group of tourists visited a historic village in an unknown country. One of them asked the tour guide, which famous person was born here? A villager who stood nearby answered, no famous person was born here, only babies. Everybody was shocked. The moral of the story is that an exemplary citizen is made, not born. Just as we learn to walk, learn to speak a language, learn to sing a song, learn to perform on the stage, we should also become specialists in those lessons that are fundamental to living in harmony and social progress, such as respect, empathy, equality, solidarity, and critical thinking. I will not have enough time to speak on all the dimensions of the conference theme, but I hope I can provoke the discussion as you continue to interrogate the theme over the next few days. To take me through my speech, I've asked myself a few questions for which there are many possible answers, but here is my take on it. What are values? What are some of the common values shared across nations? Tomorrow is Commonwealth Day. And this year, the theme highlights how the 54 member countries in the Commonwealth family are innovating, connecting, and transforming to help achieve some of its biggest goals. For countries to work towards common goals, they should have common values. And in the case of the Commonwealth member countries, they share the values which include the promotion of democracy, human rights, good governance, the rule of law, individual liberty, egalitarianism, free trade, multilateralism, and world peace. As we grow up, we visit many places, we meet many people, and we can all agree that there are values which are common as far and wide as we go. And we can also agree, as we encounter new cultures and new people, we continue to grow and learn, and so do those who come on our way. Three of the most impressive places which I had the opportunity to visit were the Bodh Gaya in Bihar, India, with its remarkable and monuments from ancient dynasties. Then the ancient Makri graveyard in Tata, a city in Sindh, Pakistan, which is the largest necropolis in the world, and the Hagia Sophia Holy Grand Mosque, and formerly the Church of the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, Turkey, which is one of the world's greatest monuments. What struck me about these places was their unique history and culture and craftsmanship, which is an integral part of the people of their countries. Each of these places are valued by its people, and they remain strong pillars of their culture. They stand and behold what their people value most: their history, their heritage, their ancestors. These are common values across those countries. We cannot imagine how strong each country, each nation, and the world would have been if we shared more of the same values. COVID-19 has crippled the world and shocked us out of our comfort zones, making us rethink our practices, our goals, and the way we want to live. A good starting point is a focus on the pillars which will assist us in creating a more sustainable world with stable economies and more just and inclusive societies. Those pillars are our values, without which it will be very difficult for us to build a better world. So what are those values? What are they for each of us? What are they for each of our educational institutions? Some say that our values are our principles. Others say it is our fundamental convictions, while others are saying it is our standards which act as a point of reference in our decision making. And others are also saying it guides our behavior and action. In other words, considering all of this, our values are closely connected to our personal integrity and our personal identity. According to literature, a value consists of criteria which are adopted by society and individuals and believed to be in the interest of the society and individuals, judgments involving qualifications, consciousness, emotions, and excitement, and management and integration of an individual's behavior. The acquisition of these qualities can be achieved by values education. Now, values combine the common wishes, the preferences and beliefs that are effective in the psychological and sociological well-being of the individual and the society. Therefore, values education becomes even more important for the continuity of societies. I found this resource from UNESCO, which gives us a visual unpacking of the characteristics of values education. Values education promotes respect and understanding for diversity and beyond, which includes religious, cultural, and ethnic differences. It deepens knowledge of world problems and of the values such as justice, equality, and dignity. But it also encourages empathy, communication, and teamwork, and it stimulates creative and systematic analysis to identify different angles to problems. And it also promotes collaboration to find global solutions to problems and defend the common good. One such global problem is climate change. Considering all of this, the world needs values education now more than ever. So who is responsible for values education? Is it the family or who is it? The family is the first social institution, and values education starts in the family. Remember, the baby was born and the baby should now grow and develop and learn values and understand what society is expecting of the baby. When it comes to the continuity of society's values, education should be addressed in a more formal way, and therefore the next social institution where values education takes place is the school. Value education is learning about self and wisdom of life in a self-exploratory, systematic, and scientific way through formal education. The best way to come to understand the educational values of any society is to examine the broader framework of values in that society. Schools, as the next social institution to the family, play a fundamental role in the development of values of their students. Its teachers play a major role in shaping and developing the values in their students. It is because of the influence teachers have on their students that society expects a certain standard of their teachers. I remember as a teacher, we had to dress in a certain way. Society expected of us to live by example. All of that has changed over the past 40 years since I first stepped foot in a school classroom. And when students experience problems at school, the finger, most of the time, is pointed at the teacher. I remember nearly 30 years ago, I was a school principal. And at that time, I was also the mayor of a city. And one Friday afternoon, when I went for a drive with my daughters, I had jeans on, and as I got out of the car, I could hear two men who stood close by where I parked my car saying to each other, "It is her. No, it is not her." And I asked, "Who is not her?" And the one said, "He says, you are the mayor." And I said, "You are not." And he continues to say, "Because the mayor or the school principal cannot have the jeans on." I stood in shock. And all I could say was, I am the mayor and I am also the school principal. As I walked away, I realized that in that community, which I should have said, I didn't grow up in that community, but I expect my community in which I grew up would have had the same stance. The residents had a certain standard for how people in certain positions should dress. The schools, therefore, reflect and embody the value of society. Indeed, they owe their very existence to the fact that society values education and therefore seeks to exert influence on the pattern of its own future development through education. Many schools introduce the personal development curriculum, which aims to develop student understanding of our differences and to build skills and confidence in all students so that they feel able to raise issues, to question ideas, and to reflect on their learning so that they grow into well-rounded young people who can contribute meaningfully to the wider community and go on to lead successfully healthy lives. This includes, but it is not limited to, the promotion of positive self-image, values identification, as well as the development of strategies to effectively manage physical, mental, emotional, intellectual, and social change. Confucius, the great Chinese philosopher, said, "To put the world in order, we must first put the nation in order. To put the nation in order, we must first put the family in order. And to put the family in order, we must first cultivate our personal life. We must first set our hearts right." Pondering on this quote of Confucius, I came across this interesting statement, the speech, which was made 75 years ago by a United States judge. And it does not only connect with the statement of Confucius, but it opens the door to what values are. And I believe our values should lie in our hearts. During my speech so far, you would have picked up that I've used the word hearts quite a number of times, pillars quite a number of times, outside the scope of the school and the values, pillars and heart. So it is something that has to do with my personal identity, with your personal identity and dignity. So I found this very interesting speech of this judge, and I thought of sharing it with you. What do we mean when we say first we seek liberty? He said, "I often wonder whether we do not rest our hopes too much upon constitutions, upon laws, and upon courts. These are false hopes. Believe me, these are false hopes. Liberty lies in the hearts of men and women. When it dies there, no constitution, no law, no court can even do much to help it." And what is this liberty which must lie in the hearts of men and women? It is not the ruthless, the unbridled will. It is not freedom to do as one likes. That is the denial of liberty and leads straight to its overthrow. A society in which men recognize no check upon their freedom soon becomes a society where freedom is the possession of only a savage few, as we have learned to our sorrow. What then is the spirit of liberty? He said, I cannot define it. I can only tell you my own faith. The spirit of liberty is the spirit which is not too sure that it is right. The spirit of liberty is the spirit which seeks to understand the mind of other men and women. The spirit of liberty is the spirit which weighs their interests alongside its own without bias. The spirit of liberty remembers that not even a sparrow falls to earth unheeded. Ladies and gentlemen, I will let you continue to ponder on that statement. For now, it is my pleasure to officially open this conference and wish you all the best with your deliberations. I thank you.